Good morning, sisters, and welcome back to our channel. We are really excited about this video that we have for you this month. As we tried to decide what we wanted to share with you, we settled on a topic that has been on our minds a lot, and that is the respect and the love that we show for the men in our lives and the priesthood holders, and the way that we speak about them and treat them. There's a wonderful talk by Sister Linda K. Burton that she gave in the April 2015 conference, and I'm just going to share some pieces of that with you. I will also link it down below so that you can go back and read the whole thing, because the whole thing is really fantastic. She says, "We know from the scriptures that it is not good that man should be alone. That is why our Heavenly Father made an helpmeet for him. The phrase helpmeet means a helper suited to, worthy of, or corresponding to him. For example, our two hands are similar to each other, but not exactly the same. In fact, they are exact opposites. But they complement each other and are suited to each other. Working together, they are stronger." In a chapter about families, the church handbook contains this statement: "The nature of male and female spirits is such that they complete each other." Please note that it does not say compete with each other, but rather complete each other. We are here to help lift and rejoice with each other as we try to become our very best selves. Sister Barbara B. Smith wisely taught, "There is so much more happiness to be had when we can rejoice in another's success and not just in our own. When we seek to complete rather than compete, it is so much easier to cheer each other on." I have asked a few sisters from our ward to share with us some ways that their husband cheers them on and ways that they work together to complete their marriage rather than compete within their marriage.
I am so grateful for my husband. I'm so grateful for the cheering on that he gives me. He is my biggest cheerleader. He's cheered me on every single day through this pregnancy, and he's cheered me on every single day with being a mom and doing the different things that us moms do. This pregnancy has been so exhausting and painful, and he has helped me every day, whether I've fallen physically, mentally, or emotionally. He's always there to pick me up, and he has blessed me with having the priesthood in my home and our home, and he's the one that gives my little boys such a great example to live up to. I'm so grateful for the role that husbands have as fathers, and I truly believe that they just complete the family. And I'm so grateful that he has also just brought Christ more into my life, and as an everyday thing, it's something that we strive to do, is bring him more into each other's lives. And I'm just grateful for a husband that makes that a number one.
I was really excited when Marky asked if I would share something about the way that my husband supports me in my life. We have been married for 39 years this November, and it's been the greatest 39 years of my life, and I'll tell you why. I really did marry my best friend, and the wonderful thing about Brad is that he has an amazing sense of humor. Everything you do with my husband is fun, whether it's chores around the house, whether it's cleaning the yard. Anything that you do with Brad ends up being a competition and something fun. But the thing that I love the most about that is that he kept his sense of humor in anything. When things got tough, he always had a good sense of pulling me out of making something that was sad feel happy and be okay. The other thing that I wanted to really say that I appreciate about him is him helping me reach my goals and doing my personal best. Whenever I've been involved in anything musically or even in callings, he has always been the first person there supporting me and helping me, whether it was setting up chairs, making floral decorations, or setting up or doing any of those things. He has always been there to help support me. And I think that's the most important thing between a husband and a wife, is that you are in everything together, whether it's coming home from work and bathing a baby, or emptying the dishwasher because your wife hates emptying the dishwasher, which is my favorite thing that he does for me. But just being my friend and worrying about me 100% more than he worries about himself. And I do the same for him. And I think that that's the best part, is that he has always put us and our family first. And I'm grateful for that. So thank you.
My name is Brenda Nevitt, and I have been asked to share a few thoughts with you today. And I'd like to begin with a quote by President Kimball about marriage. It says, "Marriage is perhaps the most vital of all decisions, and it has the most far-reaching effects, for it has not only to do with immediate happiness, but also with eternal joys, and affects not only the two people involved, but their children and their children's children down through many generations." That sounds like it's very important to me. And I think that the way that we complement each other, not compete, but is to live the gospel, that we need to love and appreciate and respect. I love the quote by Sister Hinckley that says, you have to have as your first priority the happiness and comfort of your spouse. If you work on that, then you are happy too. And I think that is really true. The more you are, the more love and compassion you show, the more happy that you are. It's not competing, and it is like you're contributing to being unified together. And truthfully, I'm really glad that I don't have to be equal to him and compete with him. I'll tell you a little bit about Eddie. First of all, his mom said that he was her perfect child. I was not. Eddie graduated from BYU with, and he's a twin. Maybe you'd like to know that too. Eddie graduated from BYU with a major in agronomy, which is farming and things like that. And he has a minor in entomology, chemistry, Spanish, and several other things. He was there at BYU for, I think, 7 years. But he loved to study, always has. Eddie's a hard worker. He gets up early every day. He studies every day. He works hard. And he's good at what he does. On the farm, Eddie uses all his knowledge to be the best farmer that he can be. And in church and in spiritual matters, he uses all his knowledge and his study to be the best that he can be in helping and guiding and using the teachings of the gospel to help those in our stake. I have always just wanted to be a mother, always. That was my big goal in life. I like to sew, I like to create, I'm crafty, I like to quilt. And we're so very, very different. And to be united with those differences is something that I guess you have to work at. But to me, when you really love someone, the working on it isn't hard. One of the things that you might find interesting that we can do together and it unifies us is that Eddie, I told you, is a farmer. He plants his cotton and he's colorblind. He can't see the green from the brown. So we always go out together, and I love this time of year. We always go out together see if we can row out, if I can row out the cotton, because he can't. He can't see the difference between the brown and the green. There is another quote by President Holland. It says, any intelligent couple will have differences of opinions, and our challenge is to be sure to know how to resolve them, and that is the process of making our marriage better. And I really think it has so much to do with selfishness and unselfishness and love. Another quote by Holland that I love is that the most problems in love and marriage ultimately start with selfishness. And we can look to Christ's example, because he was the most unselfish and the most loving. And as we do this in our marriage and delight in each other's accomplishments and help each other, I think then that we are completing each other and not competing.
Weren't those messages absolutely wonderful? I enjoyed watching every single one of them, and I hope that I can incorporate some of these things into my life and help strengthen my marriage. Sister Burton said, "Sisters and brothers, how often do we intentionally speak kind words to each other? We might test ourselves by asking a few questions. With a little adaptation, these questions can apply to most of us, whether we are married or single, whatever our home situation might be. Number 1, when was the last time that I sincerely praised my companion, either alone or in the presence of our children? Number 2, when was the last time I thanked, expressed love for, or earnestly pleaded in faith for him or her in prayer? 3, when was the last time I stopped myself from saying something I knew that could be hurtful? 4, when was the last time I apologized and humbly asked for forgiveness without adding the words, but if only you had, or but if only you hadn't? And 5, when was the last time I chose to be happy rather than demanding to be right? Now, if any of these questions lead you to squirm or feel a tinge of guilt, remember that Elder David A. Bednar has taught that guilt is to our spirit what pain is to our body, a warning of danger and a protection from additional damage. She says, as I have prepared for this opportunity today, the Spirit has taught me, and I have committed to speak words of kindness more often to my cherished companion and about him, to lift the men in my family and express gratitude for the ways that they fulfill their divine and complementary roles. And I have committed to follow the proverb, thee lift me, and I'll lift thee, and we'll ascend together. I hope that as we go throughout our month, that we can look for ways to lift the men in our life rather than tear them down and speak kind words to them. I've asked a few more sisters in our ward to share just one way or one reason that they love their husband. And I hope that as you watch these sisters, that you'll be able to pick out something that you may see in your own husband or your son or your father, and maybe try and just sit down and think of your own reasons for a few minutes and sincerely express gratitude to them for the things that they do and the ways that they just make our lives better.
One of the things I love about my husband is that he is always able to see the need in our life and in the life of those around us, and then he always acts on that need, and he is able to help fulfill those needs with his service, and so he makes life pretty great.
I love that my husband's caring and he's always there to help people out.
One thing that I love about my husband is that he is such a hard worker. No matter what needs to be done, he's going to do it. Whether it's school or work or helping with things around the house, helping my family do so many different projects and things. He is so loving and caring and will do whatever needs to be done. And I just love him for that.
One of the things that I really love about my husband Marv is his sense of humor. It's a very dry sense of humor, but every time it's just black on, it's perfect. He really is still with it
One thing I love about my husband is his ability to say, I trust you, and I know completely that he does trust me in the decisions that I make with the kids or with our household affairs or whatever it is that's going on. I know that he supports and he trusts me in those decisions.
My husband is hardworking and helpful. Through the years as a working mom, he's the one who's mopped my kitchen floors, has done my ironing, and has cooked meals. The thing about Mike that stands out in my mind the most is his true example of charity. He's the one who will fix your flat tire if you're stuck on the side of Ironwood. He's the one who will give you gas if you run out of gas. And he's the one who gives the man standing outside of Costco a meal. An example that stands out in my mind the most, though, was a few years ago. I had a little girl in my class. She wore these cute little Mary Jane shoes every day to school, and she came from a large family. Her family couldn't afford to buy her too many pairs of shoes, so she always wore these cute little Mary Janes. It was time for our annual fundraiser, and she was so excited. As she looked up at Jammin' Jake, smiling, he looked down at her and he said to her, he goes, "Sweetie, you're not going to be able to run very fast in those Mary Jane shoes." The excitement completely diminished from her face. I came home at night and I told Mike about her, and he insisted that we run down and buy her a pair of tennis shoes so that she could participate in this fun run. So we went down to the shoe store and we bought her a pair of tennis shoes and we bought her some sports socks. He did this without asking and without being thanked. Mike does these kind of charitable acts anonymously. He's a true example to me of showing charity, and he makes me want to be more charitable and be more of a better person.